everybody! If you're new to the channel, I'm Britt, also known as nerdygirlcrochets. I love to paint safety eyes and crochet plushies, and today I thought it would be fun to do something that I have thought about doing for a while now, but honestly I've been like a little nervous and like bittersweet feelings about doing, so oh my gosh, don't mind my dog in the background. Well, we have guests. So anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and we'll just get right into it. Back to working on trying to get my craft room organized. And I wanted to do this for a while, but it kind of is always like giving me like a smidgen of anxiety. I'm like, they've literally just been like sitting on the floor in my closet. I don't know why. I always am like, I feel kind of bad, but I'm just going to finally do it. I'm going to either like unravel or just like cut up some of my abandoned or like first projects even, just because I'm like, well, I didn't even finish abandoned whips and then some of my first projects that I'm like, I'm never gonna go back to that or whatever because I want the stuffing or I want the yarn, whatever it may be. Because I really just am like, I'm in this point in my life where I'm just like, I'm trying to clean everything, get organized in every point of life. So anyway, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I'm just like looking at this and oh yeah, this is one of my first like makes, and I can see it's like, what was I doing there? I can tell like my stitching is just not consistent or clean or anything, and the bottom portion is like inside out. I don't know. Yeah, oh my gosh, it's so funny. So I was like trying to make like a pink pokeball with like fluffy accent, obviously. And you know, this is like, it's not horrible, but it's also just like a good reminder, we all start somewhere, right? So yeah, I started getting into Amigurumi like September, October of 2023, and now it is April 2025. So anyway, I'm just gonna cut this apart. I'm not trying to save the yarn for this one. I just want the space in my closet, and I want the stuffing, to be completely honest. This is the first time I've cut apart a project, so it feels kind of weird. But like, stuffing ain't cheap. And then I remember when I first started, like one of the things that I did is like I overstuffed things. Like I remember I made this Yoda and it's like hard as a rock. That was just like one of the things I remember. It was like I really struggled with stuffing. I'm always curious, like what are some things other people struggled with as a beginner? Yeah, I'm actually getting, I'll show you. I have this little like basket here, but I'm getting a good amount of stuffing just out of this one little project. I'm definitely going to need to vacuum after this. Oh my gosh, I'm like covered in pink fluff now. You can't see it, but it's just like everywhere. Good old sweet Snuggles never changes. But like, look, all of that from one ball. That's why I was like, I'm taking it apart. I'm going to take apart my projects. Okay, and the next thing was this like cow I was testing. Yeah, the yarn. This was like a batch of really bad sweet Snuggles and it felt disgusting. And I realized quickly, I was like, I'm gonna start over and choose a different yarn because this feels disgusting and I just am like, so yeah, I ended up just being like, I'll start a different head, and I was very happy I did. So let's cut. I honestly don't know how people save like eyes that have been sunk in already. Like, I'm not even gonna try, to be completely honest, which is a bummer because like on some of these projects, like the eyes are pretty, but I don't know how to do that. Like once these babies are in, like they're in. I legit do not know how people get these things out. Like the one time that I accidentally put eyes in the wrong spot, the only way I was able to like move them was taking like a heavy duty tool and breaking the back off, and I ended up breaking the eye in the process. So I ain't trying. I don't care. This has been sitting in my closet for a while now, so I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna have to lose some safety eyes in the process. But if you know how to actually like take eyes out that have been sunk in, please let me know in the comments, because I legit do not know how. So I'm like, look at this. I mean, I'll leave that little yarn in there, but like, look, that's only two small pieces and all that stuffing. Recycle, reduce, reuse. Oh my gosh, this was like one of my first little projects, and I remember being like so proud of it. And like, don't get me wrong, it's a cute little like candy corn, but as I got like more experienced and everything, I noticed I was like, you know, like the eyes are pretty far apart. I used like cute little rhinestone button things for the eyes though, which I do still like. I think that's cool. This was before I got into safety eyes, so I liked that they sparkled a lot and everything. But yeah, I just as time went on, I was like, I just don't love it. I don't love how far apart the eyes are and everything, so I'm just going to cut her apart because I want the stuff. And I feel like it's hard too, because some people will be like, well, you can like try and sell these things because even though you don't like it, somebody else will, and we're just critical on ourselves. But I have a bad tendency. It's like, if I am not proud of that, I have a really hard time like putting it out and being like, yeah, I want to sell that, because like, ew, you know. And once you learn and you come so far, it's like, I don't want to put that out and represent that as me. It's like, yeah, it was me at one point, but I've come so far. Now, that being said, you should be proud of yourself in like every like learning phase, right? Because I remember when I was brand new, I like free-handed an L from Death Note, and I was like really proud of it at the time. Now, looking back, I've come so far, but I do remember like at that time, I was so proud of it. Would I put that L out to sell now? No, no. But like when I was in that moment, because I was so new and I free-handed it, I was super proud of myself. So I do think it's good to like be proud of yourself and how much you grow at each stage of your crochet journey. I'm just like so excited about all of my stuffing I'm gonna have now. I forgot, at one point I had this like brand new pillow and I just didn't like the pillow, so I was like, I'm just gonna take the stuffing out of it. And it was like dark stuffing. I was like, oh, interesting. I had honestly never seen dark stuffing before, so some of these have the dark stuffing in it, but it's super soft, so like, who cares? Okay, I'm only like 4 smaller pieces down, and look at all this stuffing. Like, that's wild. I am super happy I'm deciding to do it, even though I am like legit covered in fluff now, even if the camera is not showing it. Literally going to need to lint roll myself down. Okay, here's another one. Like, he's cute, he's Pikachu, like, you know, but for me, because I'm able to be like, I've come far, I just can't bring myself to sell him. Like, this is before I knew how to sink down like sinker eyes, so I had like put yarn on the side because I didn't understand why his eyes were sticking out and all that stuff. And so now for me, I'm like, I can't bring myself to sell that. Like, I'm sorry, but it's not child safe. And yeah, I think I had also forgotten to like put the nose in when I was actually crocheting, so I had to like glue it. So, you know, like, no, there's too many things for me that I'm like, no. I'm sorry, but I know he's a Pikachu, but no, I'm just going to go ahead and take him apart. And I'm like, I have made way too many Pikachus, and I can't do that. I can't sell something with safety eyes that are sticking out for me personally. That's just, I mean, yes, you should always kind of advise people anyways, like, hey, young children, technically these are not child safe type of thing. But if they're sticking out, that's like an extra hazard. So back when I first started crocheting, I didn't understand the whole safety eye thing. And I think that is a very common thing. And that's okay. Like, a lot of us did not understand how to do safety eyes. properly when we first started, like the sinker ones, I should say, where they really, like, you need a tool to sink those in. And yeah, so I look back on some of my first projects, and you know, even some of the smaller ones, I didn't even realize I was using sinker eyes. I just thought they just stick out like that. That's just, they're difficult, whatever it may be. And so now it's like, if they stick out like that, no, I'm not gonna sell it. It's not safe. All these things. So I was just really grateful when I was testing the Fury Snugglers for Red Mills that there were a lot of people in there who were willing to like help and guide me and let me know that it's not my strength or anything. It's literally like, you need a tool to get these eyes in. Like, they are so difficult, you know, like my husband and I were like, there's something wrong with these eyes. Like, why can't I get them in? And it's not you. It's literally like, that's the eyes and that's how they are. So yeah, I was appreciative for that tester group helping me out, because I honestly just didn't know until that group. The sinker eyes, they should be flush up against your plushies so they're not at risk of just like popping out just being there, you know? I'm amazed by how much stuffing I've gotten just from like a few plushies. This is wild. This will be interesting. Okay. Oh my gosh, here's one that's like, this could be a weapon with how much I stuffed it. This is unreal. So it's a whale that I did like a watermelon, and it's like, where's the eyes? You know? Where are the eyes at? Now, mind you, I do not have many black eyes. I never really liked the black eyes, and then like quickly I got into like using vinyl and the sparkly eyes. So I do not have a lot of eyes, and like big black eyes, I've never had any. So like this was probably the biggest black safety eye I had. But I'm like, it just like, you lose it with how big the project is and with the seeds of the watermelon theme I did. And yeah, but this thing is so compact. I was trying to do like a watermelon whale, and I'm like, oh my gosh. You hear that? So anyway, I'll be curious to see how much stuffing is in him. There's the first scoop. Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm just like, wow. So, I'm just saying, I think if you have some like plushies that you have no intention of like gifting or selling, or they're just like sitting on the floor in your closet, maybe cut them apart. You know, like recycle your materials. Like, look at that. Like that's crazy. That's literally insane. I have so much stuffing now. And there have been many times in the past that I ran out of stuffing and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't finish this project because I do not have enough stuffing. Wow. Pro tip. This was the last like whip or plushie that I decided to cut into so I could take the stuffing and just like look at that. I filled that entire thing, and it's honestly bigger in person than the camera is showing. But that is just full of stuffing, all from pieces that I was never going to finish, or just stuff that I'm like, yeah, no, I would never sell or gift it. And so this was a head where I had just like placed the eyes, and I don't know, I want to say it was like way too high up on the head and I just couldn't get over it, but I loved the eyes. But seriously, if anybody has pointers on how to actually like get eyes out so you can use them again, please let me know, because this was so difficult, clearly such a mess. I still have to try and like pry the yarn out from under the backing. Let me see. Like, you see what I mean? It's like I have to try and pry my scissors under to get that yarn out because I still can't get the back to budge. So, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, when these are sunk into your work, it is really difficult to move them. So, yeah, if anybody has pointers on how to, like, get eyes out if you want to, like, save them or if you misplace them on a project, please let me know. There is, like, a little scuff, but I really like this set. I don't even feel like the camera's doing them justice. They're really pretty. And, you know, my mom is, like, obsessed with purple, and the hearts are her vibe, so I'm like, I could totally use this on something for her, and she will not be upset over a little baby scuff. So, yeah, please give me some pointers if you guys have any, because it is taking so long trying to dig out all the yarn underneath this back just to save these eyes so I can use them again. Even though you will 100% have to vacuum. It's a mess in here. Should I list a vacuum as like required, I don't know, materials for this? That brown polyfill looks really gross, but it's super soft. And it honestly came from like a really fancy pillow that came with my big chair that I just didn't like, so I just used it. But anyway, I ended up, really, it could have ended up being like 3 of these baskets full of polyfill. Not bad. And I took apart one of the whips so I could have all of that yarn. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go wind that. All in all, I ended up cutting into, and mind you, none of them were full. No, correction. I guess some of them were full. There was like, I want to say 2 full plushies, maybe 3, but they were small. Aside from that big whale, oh my gosh. But otherwise, most of them were just like whips that I had abandoned a while ago because I just didn't care to finish them or whatnot. But so there was like 3 of those, I think. But in total, I cut into 10, and I ended up with like probably like 3 of those little like baskets worth of polyfill now that I have, and that's just crazy. Like, that is so much polyfill for projects that were literally just like sitting on the floor of my closet taking up space, and every time I saw them I was like, ew. So if you have projects that are just like sitting taking space up, I highly recommend, although sad at first, maybe just cut into them and like reuse supplies, you know, save money on that polyfill. I was resistant to do it at first, but I think it's a great idea. Plus, if you can, you know, get some yarn out of it that you like this was a toothless that I was making, but it was like from over a year ago, and I had started it, and it was like with big bulgy center pupil eyes, which if you like that style eye, that's fine. It's just not my preference. So every time I looked at him, I'm like, why am I holding on to him? I'm never going to finish that because that is not my style. So I knew I wanted to take that apart to keep the yarn and get the polyfill. So yeah, I highly recommend. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.